grace and forgiveness, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Here to honor America with our national anthem, please welcome Alyssa Golden.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Will Kyle Busch win for the 5th time this season, or can an Xfinity regular pull off the upset? We're making history at Pocono next. Thanks, Jake. From the Pocono Raceway in northeastern Pennsylvania, Fox Sports presents Xfinity Series racing for the first time ever on the only NASCAR track to feature just 3 turns. Now it's time to turn our attention to NASCAR's Queen Bee. To define Danica Patrick as just a driver is to shortchange her. She combines great driving talent with a zest for life, a flair for yoga, a mom to her 2 furry babies, and lots of charitable work dedicated to animals and on the behalf of children. Over 1 million followers on Twitter, The three of us are three of her biggest fans. I've gone on record saying such. DP joins the boys today again. I'm glad we didn't scare you off last season with Adam and Mikey up there with you.
Thank you. No, you did not scare me off. It was fun. The only thing is scary is having like probably 6 minutes to change and put makeup on and hair, which means most of that didn't get done. I did get my clothes on, though.
It reminded me of a qualifying run. The hair looks great. So in that category, you are, in fact, on the pole, okay?
Yeah, and you saying that makes me think about how qualifying went, which was bad, and I feel like I look bad. So I think it went just about like qualifying yesterday.
Not at all. Not at all. Hey, Mike, when we look at this place, we know it's a unique track, right? Probably the most unique that we go to in NASCAR. Someone told me it's like Indianapolis. Someone else said it's a road course. How do you attack this joint?
3 turns, 3 separate ways. You can really hammer the car through the tunnel. That place is fast. These guys are nearly wide open through there. And the same is the case to some extent in turn 3, coming off turn 3 for that long front straightaway. But if you get in turn 1 too far, you've messed up your whole lap. And Danica, you were just out there.
Yeah.
The sun's shining. It's slippery. What are these guys faced with today?
I mean, turn 3 is the most important thing, and that's what I said at the end of the practice was let's focus on that. Let's focus on getting that car to turn there because you'll just get passed all day on the front straightaway if you aren't fast through 3. So, and then as a priority, probably turn 1. If you're really tight through 1, they're going to get inside of you to 2. But then it's really challenging to pass in 2 because you lose all that side force with them right next to you going into 2. So it's kind of hard. I think it's kind of a little bit like a road course, you know?
Don't you love all that? That's what we're going to be dealing with.
I don't know why, but all of a sudden I'm stressed out about this race. 100 laps on the way. Right now we're going trackside for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, Lieutenant Governor Mike Stack.
Drivers, start your engines!
The engines have fired. NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers ready to go green for the 12th time in 2016. We return after a break on Fox. Back live on a cloudy Saturday afternoon in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Today, the first time ever, the NASCAR Xfinity Series racing at Pocono Raceway. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Perhaps a preview of what you just heard. Here's from the driver's seat, Elliott Sadler starting 6th today.
Well, let's ask Elliott Sadler what he thinks about the weather and how that's going to affect this race. Elliott Sadler, it's Michael Waltrip up in the Fox booth. Do you copy, friend?
Yes, sir. I got you loud and clear.
Well, to add to your other problems, it seems like there's maybe some weather in the area. How do you attack this race, strategy, and how are you going to beat those Gibbs cars that are so fast?
Well, you know how strategy is. I mean, here you kind of want to run it like a road course and stay on the track when the caution's out and do those kind of things. But we got a pretty fast car. Our one main Chevrolet was pretty good on Thursday. We qualified decent. Just might have a little trick up our sleeve we might need to do. And then you throw weather on top of it. You don't know what's going to happen. So we're looking forward to a good day.
Hey, Elliott, it's Danica. I was wondering what do you think your strongest corner is? Do you think you're pretty good off of 3, or do you think your strength is somewhere else?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Danica. You know, it's all about compromise here and being good in all 3 corners. But here, you always got to be good off turn 3 to come down this long straightaway. It's always going to be tricky with restarts. You got to make some passes. So hopefully we've got the right stuff in the car, and I've given them the right information to be good in all 3 corners. But we'll see, man. We're looking forward to the great race today. Thanks for XFINITY and Pocono Raceway for having us here this weekend. And as always, thanks to our men and women for protecting and serving our country so we can get to do the things we love each and every weekend, like racing here at Pocono.
Amen, brother. Thanks a lot. Have some fun. Can't wait to see those tricks that are up your sleeve. We saw you pull one at Talladega and get a big win. So have fun today, Elliott.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Elliott Sadler rolling off 6th today. Now pit headlines. Everything you need to know in 60 seconds. Let's go trackside and start with Matt Yoakum. Hey, Matt.
Adam last year, Kyle Busch won here in the truck. Now he's trying to sweep the weekend, and nothing motivates him more than to do something at a racetrack he has yet to accomplish. He's never won here in Sprint Cup. He'd love to win the inaugural Xfinity race. Now, in fact, Chris Gale, his crew chief, told me 6 weeks ago Kyle didn't realize he was scheduled to run this event. He replied back in a text, simply, just build me a badass race car. I'm going to sweep the weekend. He always knows he runs well on Saturday. It pays off on Sunday. Vince Welsh?
Well, there's no question that Kyle Busch and those Gibbs cars are the favorites. No question about it. But if you look at the next group, well, that might be headlined by the 7 of Justin Allgaier. He's the only driver in this field that has put together 3 consecutive top 5 finishes. He's firmly entrenched in the chase standings, sitting 4th. He's yet to get a win this season, but they really like their car in that final practice on Thursday. They believe they've got something to work with today. Chris Neville?
Well, Eric Jones first raced here in the Truck Series last year, and he said one of the big challenges that day were starts and restarts. He said, I just didn't have a lot of confidence in my spotter getting a good angle down into turn 1, so the team moved an additional spotter down to turn 1 just to help him out. Well, today they're going to just start with 1 spotter, but if he starts to fall back in this field, the team is ready to put an extra set of eyes down in turn 1.
Based on what we saw in qualifying, Chris, I think they just need to keep an eye on the guy out front, Eric Jones. Incredible earlier today, winning his 5th pole of the year. We go green next on Fox. Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Xfinity. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Less than a lap until we go green here at Pocono for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And now we take a closer look at Ty Dillon's stats with Race Like a Champion, brought to you by Just for Men Original Formula. And see what he's done here at Pocono. Made a Sprint Cup start, pair of starts in the Truck Series, and got that ARCA win in 2011. And everybody going to be chasing Eric Jones, who picked up the pole earlier today in qualifying.
Just so you know, right now there looks like there's a cell building about 45 minutes away. A little tough to tell, obviously. I don't think that'll quite get us to halfway, but just FYI, I'll keep you aware. Yeah, 10-4.
And you know, I've found over the years, Adam, a lot of times when weather's involved, it's hard for the most dominant car to win that race. If you go just past halfway and you don't know when the checker flag's going to fall, those teams that are gambling are going to take chances, stay out on the track maybe and get that track position for a while. That could bite this team that is so fast.
Sure, but it also creates some great racing too. When people think they're racing to halfway or racing to rain, I feel like that always brings out the best in everybody.
A lot of rain here yesterday. Both of the scheduled practice sessions for Xfinity Series teams canceled, so we will get a competition caution at lap 15. Here's a driver that's won here twice, Joey Logano in ARCA and Sprint Cup.
Tab, you know what I'm going to be dealing with here all day. Keep in mind when cars go side by side what's going to happen on these restarts and falling down on the bottom lane, how it's going to be here. I'll do what I can do. Find my holes, be aggressive. Copy that.
And that's great for us. What he's talking about, you know what's going to happen, is a big draft. These cars get side by side, they get bogged down a bit, and with that big spoiler in the back, those guys can really make a rush on them. That's going to be difficult for Logano. You could hear him talking about it. It's going to be fun for us.
It's about getting that run off of turn 1 and having the momentum instead of getting pulled back, and then all of a sudden it's like 4 wide and chaos if you get a bad run off of 2. But then what he's talking about too, a car's not alongside of you, is you get into turn 2 and you need all the side force like you were talking about in qualifying. You know, you need that right rear to hang out so that you can get as much grip as possible. And so when someone gets to your outside, their goal is to not let you get by and get a run. So it's real easy for them to just drive on your door, and that makes your world a little bit more challenging.
And these drivers were getting after it in turn 2 during qualifying today. All Joe Gibbs front row, qualified 1, 2, 3 for the 7th time this season. Eric Jones on the pole chooses the inside lane for the first time ever. The Xfinity Series green at Pocono.
There's the big run that Joey Logano was talking about. Look at, a little bit of contact there.
3 wide.
Ty Dillon all over Logano.
And look at Busch on the outside. They're sliding high as Eric Jones.
Look like
Kyle
Jones.
Larson, nowhere to go out there. Eric slid up.
Yeah, Jones got loose, and they're going to continue this intense battling.
Logano in that mix. Saw Paul Menard there. On back, the 98 of Eric Almirola.
Check out Ty Dillon trying to make this move. Logano said, I need to know. Tab, he was talking to a spotter. Where do I go? Where are these guys going? Dillon goes to the bottom, and Logano aggressively blocks Ty Dillon. He's not going to have any of that. He grabs that spot away as they go into 1.
That's that aggression that you see here at Pocono on these restarts. It's a have or be had here. I've been on both sides of that.
Just loose for Eric Jones there as he went into 1, Michael?
Yeah, that's the side force that Danica talked about being taken away by these drivers. These cars are so aero-dependent. You see that big spoiler on the back. When you have another car right beside you entering these corners at over 180 miles an hour, it really upsets the way the car handles.
On board with Ryan Reed, working to the inside of Jeremy Clements. Just in front of them, J.J. Yaley, Blake Cook. Really good qualifying efforts for that duo, advancing to the final round earlier this afternoon.
Ooh, Reed's down on the bottom. He does a nice job of staying with Clements. Oh, contact.
Clear back.
You know, we're running these cars so low in these races, and I feel like all the body work is so close to the tires. I was looking at the cars in the garage, and that left rear doesn't look like there's any room for a tire. I've been here before where you make a little bit of, I've made mistakes here at Pocono, and you brush the wall just a little bit, like we just saw Ryan Reed get some right front damage there, but getting in the car outside of them. And, you know, you never know when you can get a tire rub here. And I've blown tires because of tire rubs. And so I feel like of all the places to be careful about all your fenders, it's pretty important here at Pocono.
Well, that's some good teamwork there. That was Daniel Suarez rolling off the gas in his 19 Toyota and letting Eric Jones by.
Still there. 51 only. Back 01.
That was just a situation where Reed was trying to side draft the 51 of Clements, and he got a little bit too aggressive, and they made contact. It actually ended up hurting Reed.
Blue and white 7, Justin Allgaier outside of him in that bright yellow car, Paul Menard, and just behind them, the red 88 of Alex Bowman.
Bowman was the story at Dover a couple of weeks ago, came there, hadn't been in a car in 2016, led that race, drove to the front, and had a great day, finished in the top 5.
Best career finish. He was third on that Saturday afternoon. Kyle Busch was not there. He's here today and out front 4 laps in.
We want to take care of these tires all day long.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I got you.
Yep, I've talked to him about him real heavily, so just want you to stay on him.
This is Daniel and Jones.
That's the crew talking back and forth to give the spotter information to talk to Kyle about. Staying easy on the tires, making sure he manages his lead. He doesn't want to drive off too far and burn his tires off.
Kyle Busch, no stranger to success when it comes to the Xfinity Series. 6 starts this year, 4 wins, a pair of runner-ups, and he's out front right now.
If I had to describe Pocono to somebody that's never been here, this place is huge.
I mean, this place is a triangle and it's huge.
This is a very unique racetrack, very similar to a road course, honestly, but just left-hand turns.
It's also a beautiful place, awesome waterfall when you go through the tunnel, and the track is just awesome.
I think it's going to make for a lot of fun, exciting racing, and pretty cool for the fans to be able to see.
Blake Cook talking about the gorgeous waterfall. Pocono Raceway, the 52nd different track where the NASCAR Xfinity Series has competed.
And Blake Cook knows a little bit about huge. You see the size of the leaf filter hat? That thing was gigantic. And he's happy to be here. You heard how awesome he thinks this place is. And it's truly a great destination for NASCAR fans. The track is fun to watch the cars run around, and the area is just awesome.
8 laps in, Kyle Busch has led them all. Eric Jones is second, started on pole, slid to third, is battling back. What are they feeling?
I seen what you had there, bud, on our start. No worries. Feel it out. Feel what you got. I mean, it's fine now, but I don't know what happened there. Just got super loose. Stayed like that for a couple laps, and now it's coming around. Pulling on super loose. Remember, you were starting on scuffs. It may have been dirty or whatever. No pressure out back.
Is it me, or does this team seem to have some kind of adversity every week, you know?
Mainly at the start or during pit stops, there's always something. You're right, Adam. And watch this. He talked about being super loose. He does a great job on this launch. That's what he's trying to do. Make sure he gets his nose out in front of Kyle Busch so he can get his car into the corner without spinning sideways. He accomplishes that, Danica, but he still gets loose when he hits the corner. Look at the gap between them. That wasn't arrow. He's just loose.
Yeah, and Kyle had some good help on the outside. Larson, was that a Sadler behind him maybe? I mean, he had some good help on the outside. But, you know, sometimes you fire off in a run and it just isn't right. You know, sometimes you get into the corner and it doesn't turn. Maybe it's on the splitter. Maybe the tires aren't up to pressure. And then sometimes it's just loose and you just got to hang on. But, you know, I feel like here at Pocono, you know, you're probably better served to be slightly free than too tight because, you know, these are long corners here, especially, you know, the load that you put on the right front through all 3 corners. It's a lot. So being a little bit free might be a little bit better, but it doesn't look like it's something they probably can't fix in a stop.
And I think you're onto something because he is fast. He is closing on Kyle Busch. Larry McReynolds, the 20 car, a little bit free, but he's making some good time now.
Well, as he got that loose getting off in the turn 1, I couldn't help but think Steve Shaw, that works in the booth with me, picked up on the fact that after qualifying, NASCAR allows you to make track bar and wedge adjustments. And they were pretty aggressive with changes on that 20 car, and it may have just caught Eric Jones off guard down there in that first corner.
Jones is second behind Kyle Busch. The other Kyle on the move, Larry. Kyle Larson in that black and blue 42 went inside of Daniel Suarez. He's now third. Suarez fourth. Joey Logano completes the top 5. 10 of 100 laps complete, but more importantly, in another 5 laps, we're going to get that competition caution.
And I think you're seeing here, Danica, Daniel Suarez had never been here before, so he's just learning as he goes. Kyle Larson, a lot of experience, probably one of the toughest tracks on the NASCAR circuit to make your first start at because of the different corners and all the challenges it presents.
By all means, it's one of those tracks that you have to be really confident. It's easy to miss a corner, and it's just, you just have to be really confident. You have to hit your marks, and you have to do it really fast.
At one point, the advantage for Kyle Busch was like 2 seconds. It's down under a second now, Matt. What's going on with the leader?
Kyle Busch says the 18 car just not into the racetrack as much as he would like. He knows he's got the competition caution coming up to make an adjustment, but you can always tell the confidence of the driver, especially when he jokes around in radio communication.
Ask Jones with the lead that we got if he wants to put on a show. That's your call, Tony. Whatever you guys talk about and think there.
Oh my God, I wish I was ever thinking that in a race.
Well, Jones is definitely faster, and we're going to have a competition caution here in a few laps where maybe Kyle Busch could be thinking about some adjustments the way that Jones is closing in on him.
So if you're just checking out the Xfinity Series on this Saturday, you didn't see qualifying earlier on FS1, you probably aren't aware. Darrell Wallace Jr. started at the back, didn't complete a qualifying lap because he had a big spin off of turn 1. Didn't hit the wall, and look at this, plus 19. If he could get in the top 20 before this competition caution, I would think they have to consider that a big success.
Yeah, and they had to be looking forward to that competition caution considering where they started. And just remember the 2016 season, Adam, what Bubba's been able to do in a backup car. Had troubles at Daytona, raced in the front, finished 6th. Same thing at Dover, career best finish, 2nd.
Eric Jones perhaps gaining a little draft off of his teammate and race leader Kyle Busch. May not be long, Larry, before we have a lead change.
And Adam, aside from a lead change, I'm anxious to see this strategy when we get this competition caution in about a lap, because the fuel window here is about 35 to 38 laps. Because it takes over 50 seconds to get around this racetrack, you almost run it like a road course. You heard Elliott Sadler talking about that. I think you'll see most of the drivers come to pit road, but I would not be a bit surprised to see some stay out, because the window opens around lap 24, 25 to be able to pit there, even under green, and then make the race on one more stop.
Well, I know I'm a driver, and Danica, you are too. Please, I want 4 tires at the competition caution. Let's regroup and start there.
You usually want 4 tires, and I wonder what Eric Jones is thinking. I know he was loose at the start, and he said it was coming to him, and he's obviously very fast, but he got loose off of 2 there, and being loose off of 2, that's not a lot of fun.
You can see the car is bobbling a bit, and I don't know how much these cars change. Sometimes when you get behind a car ahead of you, you get looser. Sometimes you get tighter, and it looks like maybe Jones has gotten freer.
It's very common, too, for the car to just be more out of the track, which will probably then emphasize your problem more. So if he's on the free side and, you know, following a car takes some of that aerodynamic off of it, then that might just be showing up a little bit more.
Here are the top 10 as we anticipate this competition caution. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Joey Logano. Then it's Paul Menard, Ty Dillon, Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler, and Alex Bowman. There are the teammates, Sadler and Bowman, driving for Dale Jr.
Put it out. This will be the competition caution.
And there it is, the competition caution. And now we'll see what everybody has planned.
You know, when we are new tires, we saw Kyle Busch and Eric Jones putting almost a second on the rest of the field. But as those tires wore, we got out to lap 15, that deficit had really shrunk to Eric Jones, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson. Larson was able to run the same times as those Toyotas out front, so we could have another player in the game as we race after this caution.
Free pass goes to the 40th Carl Long.
Kyle Larson had a pretty fast last lap there.
He's the heat right now. The tires getting older. We know what a speed advantage the Gibbs Toyotas has over the field, but that's on new tires, Adam. And when you run 15 laps here, I almost think that's like running 30 or 40 at some other tracks, because the 3 turns are so uniquely different. Your car starts to go away in a hurry here, so we could have a story in Kyle Larson running these Toyotas down.
Getting on pit road here, and this obviously, Danica, under caution, which makes your life a little bit easier, but how challenging is it at Pocono to get on and off the pit lane?
Well, you know, you're trying to push it as much as you can, and so that little extra burst sometimes that you give yourself on pit in can really make for drama at the line, trying to get it down to speed. But I think you see more of that under green flag stops. Under yellow, everything is calm. But it's, you know, there's a lot to be gained with pit in, pit out, and just maximizing your lights and getting the most out of it. So you definitely see some teams that are a little better than others at it, some drivers that are a little bit better than others at it. I know we focus on it a lot from week to week. I look at every single segment and what speed I do, and you know, it's, if you can get a little bit, you're trying to take it.
And they've made some changes here along pit road. They extended the outside pit wall. You see it here. If you remember last August in the Sprint Cup race, that's where Casey Kane spun coming off of turn 3 and hit that inside pit wall. So they have extended the outside wall to prevent that from happening, and it does change your angle a little bit when you're trying to come in and make a pit stop.
And they've also added a bunch of safer barrier here with the goal of having all the walls covered with the safer barrier when we come back here in 2017. But I love what Danica said. Those drivers, they study every segment of pit road and try to maximize every segment along the way. We've seen a lot of speeding penalties in 2016 because the drivers know that they can't give anything up anywhere or they can't win races, and that's why you see them so aggressive on pit road.
And you just never know what one thing leads to the next. So let's say, you know, you lose a spot and all of a sudden you have to start on the inside and you get passed by a bunch of people on the outside, or vice versa. So, you know, it's a game of inches and hundredths, even though this is miles long.
You can see those crew members. They're up on the wall, Adam. These athletes are amazing. They're going to put 4 tires, fill them up with gas, about 12 seconds. And I just love what the commitment these crew guys make to be perfectly prepared for this job.
Yeah, it's very impressive in NASCAR. I mean, in IndyCar, our crew guys were what changed the tires, but in NASCAR, it's a whole separate group. These are professional athletes.
Here they are, Matt.
And Kyle Busch's Sprint Cup crew up on the wall. They're ready to service that 18 car, make a chassis adjustment. Much like he's been most of the weekend, the car has been on the free side. Meanwhile, the 42 of Kyle Larson, upper right of your screen, started out on the free side, but his car progressively went to the tight side, especially, Chris, on exit of turn 3.
Well, Daniel Suarez initially jumped up to second, but in the last 7 laps has drifted back to fourth. He's saying that car getting progressively looser through the run, and especially off of turn 3, so we saw a track bar adjustment there, also an air pressure adjustment. Eric Jones, pretty happy with his race car down in 1 and 2, but says all the way through turn 3, just way too loose.
There you see the race off pit road. Elliott Sadler, the first one there. Ty Dillon, Joey Logano staying on track. Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. NASCAR Xfinity Series making their first appearance here at Pocono, and we all awoke this morning to sad news in the sports world. Found out we had lost the champ, Muhammad Ali, and you've had a chance to meet a lot of people, Danica,
yeah,
and Muhammad Ali,
lucky.
one of those.
Yes, absolutely. He obviously he's been unwell for a long time and quiet, but he, it was always the greatest thing. Muhammad Ali Fight Night is an event in Scottsdale that's put on, and they raised so many millions of dollars, and you'd still see him smile and you'd still see him get excited. So when I was looking back at old photos from that event, I'd gone quite a few times, but one of the times I was awarded for my accomplishments, and I still know exactly where that award is in my house, and yeah, what a career! Mm-hmm. Like, to be able to transcend like that, and it was an honor to meet him, and it's sad we have lost him, but he did a lot of great things and was very exciting.
Mm-hmm. Certainly changed a lot of lives.
We got the order mixed up here, Adam. Got some guys that have stayed out, some 2-tire changes. That's how you bury those Toyotas back in the field, huh?
Joey Logano jumps out front on the restart here as we complete lap 19.
Wow, did you see that move by Elliott Sadler?
Yeah, he got a huge run.
Still 3 wide.
And he got blocked on the inside, so he just whipped it to the outside.
Kyle Larson moving fast on the restart.
You see the 3 get loose there, the one gets to the outside.
Will be pushing you down the back.
Big push from Kyle Busch. on the back of Elliott Sadler. You heard Brett Griffin. That's Elliott's spotter giving Elliott the heads up, but you can see Elliott's able to pull away from Busch.
Got one in the fence behind you.
Trouble for Justin Allgaier.
Yellow. Safe fuel.
He's been on such a good run lately, too.
Yeah, top 5 in 4 of the last 5 races for Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, and he was running in the 11th spot. Really, we talked about the aero and how the air is really affecting these cars. On those restarts, it's when it's the worst. Gets loose in the tunnel.
Running in some traffic. Not sure if anybody helped him along. We'll look more at that when we return to Pocono. Michael said it earlier, the Pocono's a great place for race fans, and here you see why. You leave the track, and everywhere you go, you feel like you're in a state park. The hills, the farms, the lakes. Gorgeous scenery in this part of Pennsylvania.
The deers, the bears.
We're under caution for the second time. Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Elliott Sadler, Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, your top 5. NASCAR is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Under caution for the second time today, Justin Allgaier into the wall. He's gone to the garage. Here's his teammate Elliott Sadler on that last restart.
Did you hear him? He almost spun the tires there. He whipped it to the outside of Ty Dillon so quickly. That was aggressive, and he made it work. Watch this. These things don't like to turn right really aggressively, and Elliott did that, and that was close.
Restarts, what it's all about. We've cleaned up our second caution, back green as we complete lap 23. Joey Logano, the control car, choosing the outside lane. That's Kyle Larson down to his left.
And look at the push from Sadler. Elliott's nailing these restarts today.
And keeping in mind that Joey Logano, Ty Dillon restarting in the top 5, they did not pit at that competition caution, staying out, playing a little strategy.
But when you're up front like this, Adam, they can come to pit road under green and not lose a lap. So they know that the favorites are those Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas that Kyle Busch and Eric Jones are driving. They had to mix it up. They wanted to use some different strategy. We talked about the tricks that Elliott Sadler has up his sleeve and how they're going to get this victory. You could see that evident already on the first pit stops.
And they know how important track position is. At a track like this, it's just hard to follow a car. It's really one lane. So track position has always been very important here at Pocono.
Daniel Suarez, second-year driver out of Mexico, seeing Pocono for the first time. That's him in that bright orange 19 inside of Paul Menard. The battle for 8th there.
And Paul Menard wants someone to tell Suarez it's one lane because he's trying to make it 2 down on the bottom, but you can see how his car wants to slip and slide around down there. Daniel's doing a great job on the bottom.
Where is the best place to pass, Danica?
Probably into turn 1 is definitely is a good place to pass. Into turn 2, you definitely get runs off of 2, but again, it's just so hard to be side by side with somebody through such a fast corner. So I'd say probably into 1.
Ryan Sieg has made significant contact with the outside wall. You can see some of the rear end hanging down on that 39 car. He'll have to come to pit road.
Tough break for him. Top 15 a week ago, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
See if we can see what happens. Brennan Poole in the middle. You talked about it being one lane. That was an attempt to make it 3 wide, and that didn't work so well.
Yeah, the 48 got loose down there, and there's not a lot of room when you're 3 wide. So.
Oh, and then Ryan Reed runs into Ryan Sieg and puts Sieg into the outside wall. That small independent team, they do such a great job of maximizing their resources, and that's a tough break for him. Nothing that Sieg did wrong. He just got hit by another car.
Sieg did make a trip down pit road. We'll see if they can get the damage fixed and maybe not lose a lap. And if they do, go down 1 lap, perhaps have a chance to get the free pass a little bit later on. Let's go to Vince Welch in the garage.
Yeah, a quarter of the way through this race, and Justin Allgaier back in the garage, team working furiously. What happened?
To be honest with you, I don't know. We got down into the tunnel turn, and obviously on a restart, things are kind of crazy anyways. And I got down in there, and I'd been really, really good through the tunnel turn all day. And as soon as I started to turn off the wall down the straightaway, it started to come around, and I tried to catch it, and unfortunately I got on the left side and went up, and I hit the outside wall. So really hate it for these guys. Everybody back at Junior Motorsports did a great job of giving us a great car. And when we got here, we unloaded off the truck really well. Everybody, all 3 of our cars were really good, and it's a shame for these 12-man guys because they don't deserve to be back here fixing it, and especially that early in the race. I felt like we had a car that was capable of contending for a solid top 5.
Adam.
Thanks, Vince. The other cars from Junior Motorsports inside the top 7. Elliott Sadler, who got 2 tires under that competition caution, is 7th right now. Alex Bowman is 5th. How do you see the strategy playing out from here, Larry?
Well, first and foremost, let's document the fuel window, as I said earlier, is 35 to 38 laps, which means Joey Logano and Ty Dillon, they can go another 10 laps. But I think to make this strategy work, the window is open for everybody right now. In the next few laps, if you make a green flag pit stop, regardless if you pitted or not, it allows you to make this race on 1 more stop. So I would not be a bit surprised to start seeing some drivers make those green flag stops.
And we saw how dominant Kyle Busch was when he was out in front, but he cannot get around Logano right now. So this strategy, Adam, I think it's working for these teams. Not only are they on a different strategy than the favorites, but they're holding the favorites back.
Ty Dillon is 6th. The other driver that's on that strategy, he'll have to come to pit road soon. Kyle Larson out front at Pocono. Back live here at Pocono Raceway, NASCAR Xfinity Series, 30 laps in, and we're under caution for the third time. Debris on track, and now our forward performance track facts. This is the first ever race for Xfinity teams here at Pocono, and the first debut track since Mid-Ohio, 2013. You remember that, right, Michael?
I do. And you can hear this Ford. This is how you save fuel. You get a big run, as he's doing here, and shuts it down. A lot has transpired since we went to break, and the caution flag in the middle of some green flag pit stops is certainly going to mix things up. But I like where Logano is. He's got his gas. Now he'll stay on the track, see what the other leaders elect to do.
And he had a bit of a long stop, so I think this yellow is probably something they're pretty excited about.
17.5 seconds. You see it there on the right front. We talked about the fact this stop is over 17 seconds, and there's the problem. The caution, though, going to pay huge dividends for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The shock absorbers on the front have a lot of rebound. They try to keep those front ends pinned to the road, and a lot of times the tire just doesn't fall out in time for the guy to pull it off once he gets all the nuts off.
And when you're talking about green flag speed here at Pocono, when it's 5 seconds or so longer than it's supposed to, that's football fields in length. So.
Really, the only position he lost there was to Ty Dillon, who pitted with him, that was on that same cycle.
Back in the day, you'd think I have to have a really good green flag pit stop or I'm going to be in trouble. Now, you better have a really good caution flag pit stop because all the leaders are on pit road. You lose a second, even a second on pit road during a caution flag, it can cost you 5 spots or even 10. But on the track, you only lost 1 there, Larry.
Yeah, this was the perfect world for Joey Logano and Ty Dillon because no matter what, they are staying out right here. Everyone else has to make 2 stops, including the one you're seeing now, and another one. Joey Logano, Ty Dillon, they only have to make 1 more pit stop. Matt.
Now keep an eye on the 42. They may just go fuel only because they're a few laps short of their window. Meanwhile, the 18 of Kyle Busch, he says his car has just a slight need for rear grip overall in all 3 corners. Slight adjustment, Vince.
Started 10th, now 4th in this 88 on the bottom left of your screen. A little bit free, floating the back end. It's going to be right sides only to tighten it up. Chris?
Eric Jones earlier said the car just way too loose all the way through 3. Still saying that car loose. So going to be an air pressure adjustment on this stop. We've seen him on these restarts. That car jumping out from underneath him down in turn 1. Going to be interesting on this restart too.
A lot of drivers electing to get 4 tires on the last cycle, most going with 2 here. The green flag back in the air when we return to Pocono. Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. With NASCAR Xfinity Series teams making their first appearance at Pocono, here's a little history lesson. First NASCAR race here, 1974, Richard Petty won. A.J. Foyt, 4 USAC Champ Car wins here. The Modifieds have been at Pocono, and 6 years ago, Elliott Sadler bringing the Camping World Truck Series to Pocono, got the win, driving for Kevin Harvick.
I love having multiple series in one place at one time. I think if it were up to me, I'd put all 3 of them at this, I'd put, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup all at the same place. I think it makes it better for the fans, more exciting. It allows the drivers to cross over, puts more rubber down.
I'll tell you, this race has turned exciting with all the strategies we're seeing.
Sir.
Joey Logano, they took advantage of their stops. Look, Eric Almirola is going to lead this race with Ty Dillon to his outside. Watch these restarts. We've seen them 3 wide. Will they go 4 wide this time?
Kyle Larson first off pit road. Of those that pitted, he restarts in the 5th position. And there goes Larson out of line.
And he's going to bring Elliott Sadler with him. I like this transmission, the job that Elliott Sadler is doing on these starts today. Man, he's strong. Ryan Reed, he stayed out, or he pitted also with Logano, but he's slipping up. He's not going to be able to keep his track position.
Ty Dillon, Nick Harrison using a little strategy to get to the front. How about 3 wide?
Larson making it 3 wide, and he was so fast before it went yellow. I mean, he was, I think before the first competition caution, they were running like low 53s and mid to low 53s, and it looks like it's cooled off and got a little bit more cloudy, but man, he was in the 52s pretty consistently, so he's going to be one to watch for sure.
That's dicey into the corner. Joey Logano on the move.
When you make a strategy play and it pays off like it has for Logano, you want to be aggressive. You want to take advantage of those moves. Another car that's going to be able to do that so far, Eric Almirola. Once you stabilize up in the top 5 on a restart and you're on a different strategy, you start to feel like you're going to be able to keep that track position and stay there.
It's always interesting to see how it feels as a driver and also to see how it goes as a fan, to see what happens when your favorite driver gets up there and they're able to maintain. It's just amazing what can happen when you get in cleaner air, and those top 5 spots are always a lot better for just overall grip in the car.
Saw Kyle Busch there, one of the drivers that pitted under caution, so he lost some of that track position to those that had pitted under green. On top of that, he took 4 tires. He's back in the top 10. Couple of rookies here. Brandon Jones is 8th. You were on board with Brennan Poole. He was 9th, but Kyle Busch working him over as well.
See Busch flash to the inside of Poole for the 3rd turn, and now he's going to make a run down the front straightaway. What a great view for Brennan Poole. This kid always winds up in the top 10, Adam. Talladega, he thought he had that big win. He was a part of that dramatic finish. Richmond earlier this season, he too was racing for the win, so this team's done a great job.
Top 10 last 4 races for Brennan Poole, 10th right now. The separation out front right there, Kyle Larson, Ty Dillon. And keep an eye on Eric Jones. Pitted under caution, got 4 tires. 4th right now, Chris.
Yeah, boy, coming up from 13th in just 2 laps. And, we saw him on that initial start and then the first restart lose spots. That car just way too loose down in turn 1. They've really settled it down. He said these last 2 restarts, much better, more confidence. And we've seen Eric Jones all year long been so strong on these restarts. Well, that's what we're seeing after 2 laps. We're all the way up to 4th and making a run for the front.
And when he gets up to the front, Chris, he's going to find Ty Dillon chasing down Kyle Larson. And, a lot of the drivers compare Pocono to Indy. It's a narrow cornered track. It's a sweeping racetrack, 2.5 miles long. And you know what, Adam? Ty Dillon's pretty good over at Indy.
Does a decent job there. Won there a couple of years ago. In fact, his only career win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Got the win over there, and now at this track that's somewhat similar, he's able to run up front. In fact, the fastest car on the track last time by. There's Dillon. It's caught Larson. I love this. We thought Larson was just going to drive away from him based on speeds from earlier. Dillon's having none of that.
Must have made a change in the 3 camp, Danica.
Absolutely. It's amazing what can happen when you make one good change and you go out there and you're like, yeah, it's great. Where was this at the beginning of the race? So it's obviously working pretty good for the 3, and he's obviously pretty good in traffic. I mean, he's pretty close to him, but it is really a whole nother story to get by somebody. A lot of times at somewhere like Pocono, it's a matter of pressuring them to making a mistake, trying to get them to overdrive turn 1 or overdrive turn 3. I feel like that's always a really good tool at Pocono.
And you could see Dylan tried to duck lower on the track than the 42 of Kyle Larson. Chris, it looks like, oh, we got a crash.
He was struggling on that restart too.
Just try to get back going here.
Oh, someone hit him in the door.
Get two down here. Just try to get it back going. They're all outside of you here.
Jeremy. He fell back to 13th, it looked like, I think, before that yellow there. So he must have been struggling with some handling issues.
Jeremy Clemens hard contact into Reed after he had spun. Looked like Reed was going to be able to keep it going straight, but then it got away from him, and Clemens with nowhere to go.
That's Reed, red, white, 16. Racing outside of Gone, just went wide on him into the wall.
You know, you can get sucked up in turn 1 pretty easily. I think that's why it makes turn 1 a good place to pass, is because there's not a lot of grip outside of the line. So it looked like he just got up into the gray.
Reed 13th when he lost control of the car. Jeremy Clemens was 20th.
Inside by himself. Clear going off clear. Inside. Inside here. 4 coming inside here. Just hold it up here. Just try to get back going here.
Wow. Like he tried to get in the gas.
That went from bad to worse.
Certainly did. Loose on entry, gets into the outside wall. And I'm sure Clemens thought he was going to be able to hold it up there, and when he couldn't, trying to cut to the bottom, Clemens gets loose and they make hard contact.
I always feel like when there's accidents in these stock cars, it's like footballs. You're just not really sure where they're going to go.
Tough day for Reed. He'd gotten into Ryan Sieg earlier in the race and then had his car jump out from under him after catching a break by pitting before our first caution. Was up in the top 5, couldn't quite hang on to it. That could be oil. He needs to shut that engine down and burn it up.
What did Jeremy Clements see as he came through turn 1?
Come right in front of me. I couldn't miss him. He was up there forever. I never thought he was coming back down like that. I didn't either.
You got to remember too, Adam, these guys are running 170 miles an hour. It happens so quickly, and then like trying to make an abrupt move to the inside and miss a spinning car, they can get loose in a hurry.
Was it from speed? Did he have a tire go down when he got up into the wall? Did he downshift and get it to kind of come around on him? Could have been any one of those things. Could have just spun.
Here's Ryan Reed walking from his car, going to the ambulance. He will make the mandatory ride to the infield care center. We're 10 laps from halfway at Pocono. It's Kyle Larson in front of the field. NASCAR is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Welcome back to Pocono. Want to remind you, nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say it. FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. It all starts Monday, FS1, June 13th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Well, the brains who know what's going on here at Pocono Raceway. This guy, our resident crew chief, Larry McReynolds. Danielle Trotta, so glad you're joining us. Under caution, 59 laps to go. Larry, strategy, the name of this game.
Well, and I think it's going to take strategy if you want to beat Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch, because they look like they're awfully strong right now.
Speaking of Kyle Busch, he's back after a 4-race absence in the number 18. Started on the outside pole, been a dominant force today. Lap 20, Larry, is when trouble begins.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier in his last 6 races, 5 top 5 finishes, but that will not happen today for Justin.
We told you at the start of the broadcast, impending rain could make for some intense racing. We saw it here. Now, Ryan Sieg, the victim of Brendan Poole and Jeremy Clemens, some hard racing.
Yeah, Ryan Sieg, he's had some great runs lately, but here's Ryan Reed in that 16 car getting loose. He stays up the racetrack, and then he's going to come down, and Jeremy Clemens in the 51 car has nowhere to go.
Didn't see Ryan Reed staying up high on the racetrack that long, Larry. Not sure yet the cause of that spin.
Well, we're racing the competition, and we're also, I think, maybe racing some weather. We're 8 laps from halfway. Here's the Doppler radar right here, and you can see some weather building to the west of us, so we're racing a couple of things, it looks like.
8 laps to halfway, as Larry McReynolds just mentioned. That's where we have to get to if NASCAR should call the race. Guys, looking at that radar, though, not thinking that this slight shower could end the Xfinity race, the first one ever here at Pocono.
Well, I would say when we get this restart, everybody's going to be aggressive, trying to find their way. And one guy we have to keep an eye on, Eric Jones, who has played the game perfectly right now.
Yeah, and I just love where we're at in this race as viewers, because these guys, they're going to be crazy trying to get to the front. Their crew chiefs, their spotters have told them about the weather that's over turn 3 headed this way. They need to get every position they can, because this race could be red flagged and eventually called, but it's going to make these next 10 or 12 laps a lot of fun.
Just when you thought the restarts at Pocono couldn't get any more crazy.
So they've been 4 wide and 5 wide. How wide will they go here with rain on the way?
Well, that's a good question, but the thing that I'm going to watch is the inside, how aggressive they are down low, knowing that they're going to get loose when they get down there, and if they can make it through the first corner, what happens when they get to the tunnel?
I'm also looking to see if they've blown turn 1 with the jet dryer at all to clean it off. If they have, then that's going to allow more lanes to use on the restart. And so you're looking to the outside. I'm going to look to the outside and see who makes it 3 and 4 wide on the outside.
Today it's Pocono. Next week it's Michigan.
Pressure is building for Xfinity as the series heads to one of the nation's fastest speedways. The race to the chase is a marathon, but this speedway is a constant sprint to the finish. See who'll wave the checkered flag in Michigan next Saturday on FS1.
Last year, Danica made her booth debut with Michael and me at Michigan. Next weekend, Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to be with us for the first time. We look forward to that. Dale, a 2-time Xfinity Series champion.
Here we go. Very important restart.
Eric Jones on the outside is giving a big push to Kyle Larson. And look at Ty Dillon blocking as he goes toward turn 1.
And keep this in mind, when Larson pitted at lap 33, didn't get tires. Last time he got tires, lap 17. That could be a big difference as we're back under the green flag.
Yeah, and I'm impressed by Dillon. He was able to hang on that bottom, keep his second spot. We watched him run Kyle Larson down before this last caution. He could be the story here. There's your 3 wide.
Brandon Jones in the middle. That's Paul Menard down low. Red 88, Alex Bowman settling into a spot.
We'll say, though, when you come off a 2 on the inside, you're thinking, I kind of want to be on the inside into turn 3. There's definitely some more grip down there. I think that it's usable to go 2 wide through 3 for a couple laps, but that does wear away once the tires come up to 10.
And you can see Suarez took your advice there, Danica. He dove hard down into turn 3 and was able to get around Bowman.
Kyle Busch on the move, able to get around the 98 of Eric Almirola. Here comes Elliott Sadler. Paul Menard is there. And the restart, right of your screen, under review.
thing there. Kyle Larson, it looked like from that angle, got a good jump and led down toward turn 1. I like what I saw there.
Got word from NASCAR. They were looking at the 6 car of Darrell Wallace Jr. as well as the 25 of Ryan Ellis. We'll continue to monitor what they're saying about that restart. Meantime, here comes Daniel Suarez looking for that inside lane off of turn 3. A little wiggle from Almirola in the blue and white 98.
It looked like Bowman might have even thought of making it 4 wide
yes.
there.
Suarez also barely was able to keep his car off the side. Look at that big run. We talked about the draft. There's the draft for the 33. Brandon Jones, big run.
You don't really want to get hit on entry. It really doesn't feel very good.
Did Poole give a little nudge there to
I think he
Almirola
did,
into turn 1?
I think Eric saw all the action that was going on down on the inside of him. He said, I better take a break here. And when he took a break, he got hit from behind.
For second, there goes Eric Jones around Ty Dillon.
Wow, this Jones kid is the real deal, isn't he? So fast, he's able to drive around Ty Dillon. Thought Dillon could do something with Larson. Jones said, you're not getting there soon enough, buddy. I got to go take this lead away.
And I think Eric Jones is the one to watch because he's the best when you talk about tires. Got 4 of them at lap 33. And the best in regard to fuel window. No one is pitted later than lap 33. And Kyle Larson, who's out front, did not get tires when he made his last stop. Vince?
With Ryan Reed, he's out of the medical center. Good to see that he's okay after a couple of big hits. Radio problems early, then what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was just plagued from the start. Start off with, got strapped in the car and didn't have any radio communication. Got to where I could hear the spotter, but I couldn't communicate with them. Then we fire off, and we were on the splitter really, really hard. And so balance wasn't that good, but we were getting it better using hand signals. And then we got racing with the 39 car, and he got on our door. We got loose. And I think when we got into him, it started to, we got the right rear tire, and eventually it went down. We had a little bit of tire smoke, but it went away, so I thought it cleared up. But when we were racing with the 62 there, he actually got inside of us, and I thought maybe he just took the air off of us and got us loose. But he anyways, went down into 1, and the tire let go, and here we are. So, just thankful to Lilly Diabetes, American Diabetes Association for sticking with us. And I feel like we're making progress, and just these days are really tough. Adversity from the start, but we will pick up, not give up. I hope everyone. I was hoping to get the Lilly Diabetes Ford Mustang in victory lane for everyone watching at home on their Xfinity X1, but it just wasn't meant to be today.
Adam.
Thank you, Vince.
It's a shame for Ryan. He's a great driver, and he was having a tough day. But I think that I could hear a lot of frustration in his voice. I could hear how he was almost had a little bit of a defeated sort of sound to him from the very beginning with radio issues. And I think that it's got to show the people at home that's how focused you have to be out there. Is you have to be 100% in, 100% committed, focused, clear. And I feel like you could kind of hear that there was some bad vibes going from the very beginning, and that's enough to turn your day. I mean, I've been there where one negative thing leads to the next, and all of a sudden it forces you to do something desperate, and you make a bad decision, and you overdrive, and you're trying to get more than you can. And I think that's probably almost, I've been racing for like 25 years, and I feel like that's still something that I have to discipline myself to do, is take only what you can, only what the track can give you, what the car can give you, and usually those end up being the better days, of course, in the years, the ones where you just take what you can get and you find yourself in a good position. But when you try and overreach, it doesn't always end very well.
See Kyle Larson, those used tires, he's been able to maximize his day with strategy. And
you're killing him through turn 3. He's pretty good through the tunnel, pretty even everywhere else.
That's key. If he's good through turn 3, that can carry you for a long way.
Yeah, no one can get it on the inside of you going into 1 because you got such a great run off there.
I mean, if he's okay through 1 and 2's his struggle, I mean, you can hold him up through 2.
Yeah, pretty decently down the front stretch. 10-4, we're calling it.
And when we come back around, we're going to be halfway. That's big, right?
Now, but we don't take a deep breath just because it's halfway. We know that this thing could end before lap 100, and if that's the case, you want to grab every spot you can. So these guys are going to be racing with a lot of desperation.
I tell you what, one of the things that I always look for at a racetrack when it comes to weather issues is, does the wind shift directions? I always feel like when the wind starts to shift directions, that's when something's coming. And I feel like well, now of course the flag just turned on me, but it was coming from turn 3 over towards the straightaway from 1 to 2, and then it looked like it was coming more from the front straightaway over to 2. So we'll see. It looks a little hazy over there, but you never know. I couldn't believe we got qualifying in yesterday, so who knows what we'll get in.
You and I are in good shape, Michael, because Larry was checking out the radar. Danica is reading the flags, watching the clouds here. So we got this weather thing handled.
I tell you, you gotta give it up for the Xfinity competition. The fact that Ty Dillon's running up in the 3rd spot and Kyle Larson's leading this race. After qualifying, people are like, how are we going to beat the Gibbs cars? Well, we haven't beaten them yet, but we've showed them we've got something for them.
Well, you got to be in position if you're going to have an opportunity to knock them off, because we know how fast they are. And we are noticing now sprinkles on our onboard camera. You saw Kyle Busch get around Joey Logano. So Busch is now 4th. Kyle Larson's advantage 0.2 of a second. They're getting the rain gear out. Weather on the way, and we could have a battle for the lead when we return. It's Larson, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, the top 5.
Hang on, Kyle.
Put it out, put it out.
Whoa.
Fox NASCAR coverage live at Pocono Raceway. NASCAR Xfinity Series making their debut run here. And you may have heard it as we went to break. Caution came out for rain. They're bringing the cars down pit road. And it is quite a thunder shower on this Saturday afternoon in Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
I believe this is what NASCAR would describe as we've lost the track.
Indeed.
Certainly have down in turn 3. It hasn't rained that hard down toward turn 1. That just shows you the massive size of this place. You can get a real heavy storm in one end and not get hardly anything in the other. The teams are coming to pit road. Kyle Larson was able to hold off a charging Eric Jones and passed halfway. If that rain continues and we can't get the track dry, that means Kyle Larson wins the race. And man, Eric Jones knew that and was charging.
This is ironic, right? Because last week Larson was leading. Eric Jones cuts a tire, hits the wall, caution comes out. Larson loses it in overtime on the restart. So it's fitting if he's in front of Jones today when we end this thing, huh?
Be happy for Kyle. He's been really close lately.
We've got we've got a lot of daylight left though, and if this track doesn't get any wetter down toward turn 1, we can get her dried and go back racing.
Top 5 as we display the red flag: Larson, Jones, Dillon, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano. Fox NASCAR is sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel quality guaranteed.
Welcome back to Pocono. You can grill in the rain. Apparently, you just can't race in it. Under red flag conditions at Pocono for rain, we're just past halfway. 100-lap race, 53 laps completed. To start the day, Eric Jones on the pole, been running up front, currently second, and he's standing by with our Chris Neville.
And Eric Jones down here, taking a look around, see if this rain will maybe go away. It looked like you maybe needed one more lap, maybe just a couple more corners before you're going to be on the bumper of the 42. Do you think you could have had him?
Yeah, I think we definitely could have had him. We ran him down there from probably 2-3 seconds back, and only a few laps, and just didn't have the opportunity. Once we got to him, it started raining. So hope it clears up. I hope we can get back out there and race. I think we definitely got the best car, but we'll see what happens. I wish we could get back out there and race. I think we're a lot better, but we'll see if this rain holds off.
Yeah, the track doesn't seem too bad down in this turn 1 area, and there's quite a bit of wind too, so hopefully it dries out pretty quick. When you have this kind of time to sit and think about it a little bit, is that good?
No, I don't think so. I wish I was out there racing right now. I don't think when we sit around and think about it, much good comes out of it. So we were pretty happy with our car. We didn't make too many adjustments, just some stuff to help the short run speed, and felt like we definitely had that on that one restart. But we'll see what happens here. Looks like it's lightening up a little bit, and the sun's trying to come out. So hopefully that happens and we can get back out there.
Yeah, not too much rain down here in turn 1. Matt?
And the guy he was chasing was Kyle Larson in the 42. So you entered pit road, fuel only to help ensure track position. Now we've got the rain. Kind of go back and judge and break down the first part of the race for you and your team.
Yeah, we were really good. Had a little bit more speed than I thought we'd have to start. He was able to get by Suarez and then run better lap times than Kyle and Eric there the first run. So I knew we were really good. We had a good pit stop the first time, good restart. Yeah, we did fuel only there to keep our track position. Had a really good restart. Was a little bit loose to start that run, but as we run more laps, I'm getting tighter and getting more grip, so getting a little bit better. So hopefully it starts raining a little bit harder than it is right now, and we can be done with it and get a little luck. I haven't had much luck recently, so if Mother Nature wants to help out and give me a win today, I'll be more than happy to do it.
You know, going into this race, a lot of people were talking about other teams trying to close in on that advantage, whatever it is that the Gibbs cars have experienced this year. Do you feel like you guys have made big gains on them?
Well, we've definitely been best in class to them. You know, you look at our qualifying average, it's probably 4th or 5th. We qualify right behind them every time, and you know, I can outrace them a lot of times, or some of the times, you know, I have more speed than them in the race. So just, you know, a testament to how hard everybody's working at Ganassi Racing, not only in Xfinity but and in Cup. So, you know, once again, our Cessna NTT Data Chevy is really fast. So thanks to all them, and we still got some more work to do. I don't know what it is, if it's engine or body or what, but they're still quite a bit faster than us in qualifying, but we're closer in the race for sure.
Thanks, Kyle. Vince?
With Alex Bowman, and if Kyle Larson is hoping that Mother Nature ends up giving him one today, this guy certainly hopes that that's not the case. And as you can tell, we don't even have an umbrella, so really down here as we get closer to turn 1, we're not even seeing hardly any precipitation at all, so hopefully that's a good sign. You guys started out, first stop you took 4 tires, you ran it up to 4th. The second stop you took 2. It didn't look like the car liked it.
Yeah, we're just it's kind of how we planned our race, and we're sticking to it. We weren't so worried about the weather, and we kind of thought this one was probably going to skirt us or whatever. But, you know, everybody at JRM's worked really hard. Dave and all the guys have been awesome to work with. So I want to say hi to everybody at home watching on the Xfinity Go app. It's been really cool. I love Pocono. Cool to have Advanced Auto Parts on board. I think we can get up front on 4 tires. It's just really hard on 2.
And the opportunity itself to be racing this car for Junior Motorsports, how big of an opportunity is this for you to have these series of races this season?
I mean, it's everything right now. You know, I don't have anything going on other than it. So it's really my last chance to show, hey, I'm here, I can win races, somebody hire me. So like I said, we're working really, really hard with JRM to try to find partnership to stay here next year and build to more races. But everybody knows it takes sponsorship dollars, and we got great partners like Advanced Auto Parts and Cessna on board. But we're working hard to increase that, doing cool things, giving away my Daytona 500 helmet from 2 years ago when I get to 30,000 Twitter followers. So go follow me on Twitter, stuff like that. You know, it's just it's such a great organization to work with, and I'm just enjoying the heck out of it.
Yeah, and Alex Bowman will wheel it, that's for sure. He's done a nice job in the 88, and hopefully we'll get a chance to show further here later today.
And Joey Logano, part of the mix all day at the front. And Joe, you know, you've had a chance to kind of sit here and think about those first 50 laps, and we're seeing lots of different strategies. Guys taking no tires, some with 2, some with 4. Once you have a chance to really think about that, what do you think the right call is for the second half of this race if we can get back out there?
I don't know. We've just been trying to be off strategy. Our SKF Mustang isn't as fast as it needs to be, so we're trying to do whatever we can do to try to win it. You know, as Gibbs cars are obviously really fast, but they're having a hard time passing a lot of the cars back that I thought would be easier for them. So it's kind of interesting to see for sure. We'll see what we got when we go back green. Hopefully we go back green. It looks like the storms kind of pop up and go away and stuff like that, so we'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And talking about being off strategy, you guys took 4 tires on that first stop. The right front got hung up there a little bit, so a little bit slow on that stop there. Anything you can do to try and help those guys out?
I don't know. I don't think so. You know, from inside the car, I mean, you got to stop, right? And that kind of pins the nose. And you know, as part of this big traction, you try to keep the nose down as best you can. And it seems like that kind of kept the right front in there quite a bit. So you know, you can turn the wheel a certain amount to try to help that. I already did that, so I don't know what else is there.
Well, it's definitely a big track here, and the good thing is it's not raining down in turn 1. The track looks pretty good, Danielle.
Yeah, turn 1 seems to be dry, Chris. Turn 2, we see the jet dryers, as you said, a 2-mile tricky triangle. Hopefully Mother Nature plays nice with us. Until then, you're along for the ride. It's NASCAR on Fox.
Ready. Green flag, rolling.
Real good. 2 by 2.
I seen what you had there, bud, on our start. No worries. Feel it out. Feel what you got. There you go, buddy. Just set yourself up for the exit. Watch the inside there. Still just one out. Up right in front of me. I couldn't miss him. He was up there forever. I never thought he was coming back down like that.
53 laps completed in this inaugural Xfinity Series race at Pocono, our 12th race of the season. Red flag conditions underway. We are just past the halfway point, so NASCAR can officially call the race if the rain continues. We're hoping Mother Nature plays nice. You see jet dryers on track, hoping we go back green soon. Matt Yoakum standing by now on the grid.
Sun's starting to come out, Danielle. In the first 20 laps or so of this event, the 18 car, Kyle Busch, your car, crazy, stupid fast, so impressive. But what happened after that? It seems like you've lost a little bit.
Just getting back in traffic. I mean, when we were out front in the clean air, we were really fast. I think Jones was maybe still a tick faster than us, but we were just kind of riding it out to that first yellow that was coming at lap 15. And then from there, we've just been back in traffic. We haven't led again since, you know, so NOS Energy drink Camry's okay. Just you fight tight, you fight loose, you just fight air off the car when you're in traffic trying to pass those guys. And made up a little bit of ground there and was starting to make up some more ground, but got this caution here. So hopefully we can get back racing. But you know, if I'm a meteorologist, then I'm looking at another cell that's coming that doesn't make things look good.
Are you an adjustment away, or are you an excellent restart, take it, you know, 4 wide to try to get back to the front?
I feel like we're adjustment away and pitch strategy. I don't think we can beat him straight up. I don't think I can just outrace him and outpass him. The 20 is really fast. The 42 is pretty decent. He's going to be hard to pass with as good as he is. But you know, we've got some things left that we want to try, and hopefully we can do, and it'll work for us.
Now, you talked about putting your meteorological hat on. I don't know if you're you know, American weather sealed or not. But as far as track conditions, put your crew chief hat on. What would you be telling your driver about the conditions down in turn 3? Is that the most wet?
It's pretty wet. Yeah, right now it's wet. Right here, it's pretty dry. I really don't know why we're wasting our time right here with blowers over here. They need to get back down there and work on turn 3. It was soaked over there, and down here it's dry. That's just how big this place is. But overall, you know, we just hope that we can get back out there. Hopefully we can put on a good show for the fans here, the fans at home.
Kyle Busch, track superintendent, currently sits 4th. Vince?
Good to have Paul Menard doing double duty in the Xfinity Series this weekend. Currently sits 7th as we sit and wait on the weather to decide what it's going to do. You guys were turning some pretty fast laps. How pleased were you with your car?
Car's pretty good once we get running. Strategies are all over the place right now, so we're trying to figure out what we need to do. But we took 2 tires and just got too tight that last run. But I feel overall the car has good long run speed. We just keep getting these cautions. It's not helping us.
How do you evaluate the rest of the race in returns in terms of if we get back to the race, how far away are you from maybe having a car you can do something with?
Probably, well, depends on when we get back going, how many laps until we go green. We've got a plan, and we'll see how big of an adjustment we need to make.
Yeah, he and crew chief Danny Stockman visiting and discussing exactly what that plan might be. Chris?
Yeah, and Daniel Suarez on that list of drivers that has no race experience here. So coming into this weekend, you were watching a lot of video. You were talking to a lot of the Joe Gibbs drivers, and you were also spending time in the Toyota simulator. Now that you've got 53 laps under your belt, what do you think?
I think it's a fun racetrack for sure, but I don't know. It's very different, the balance of the race car right now to what we have a couple of days ago in Thursday doing practice. You know, it's different obviously because you're in traffic and you are battling with 43 cars. But I don't know. Right now, I'm not quite super comfortable with my car. I'm a little bit too loose on exit, and when you're loose on exit, you can make run on people, and it's very difficult to pass people. So we are having a hard time with that. We seem like if we drive the racetrack, we're going to have one more try to make an adjustment and try to move to in front.
Now, one thing, just watching you on restarts today, you've looked really strong, and I know that's an area that you've been focusing on, talking with Kyle Busch, talking to Carl Edwards. What are some of the things that they've been sharing with you?
Well, you know, restarts is everything about experience, and there is a lot of, you know, small advice that a new driver like me, a young driver, can get to try to improve, because restarts in this series is so important, in every series, because restarts is about track position, and it's difficult to pass everywhere pretty much. So if you can make some track position on restarts, that's money. And I was losing a lot every single race on restarts. So I've been focusing. I've been trying to work hard on my restart, and it seems like they're getting a little better. Hopefully we can make those restarts even a little bit better and move to the front.
Thanks, Daniel. Danielle?
All right, Chris, thank you so much. We can't beat them straight up. That's a quote from Kyle Busch. You don't hear that from Rowdy too often, but that's how he assesses the field with 47 to go and Kyle Larson leading.
Well, and it was one of our themes at the top of the show, Danielle, is who is closing the gap. And I know I talked about Junior Motorsports. I talked about Richard Childress Racing, but I guess I did let Chip Ganassi Racing slip through the cracks because Kyle Larson was very close to winning that race last week at Charlotte.
He has 3 Xfinity Series wins to his credit, raced in 50% of the 12 races this year, yet to break through in victory lane in 2016. Kyle Busch was also trying to assess track conditions. Larry McReynolds, our resident meteorologist. Larry, what do you think the radar is going to do here?
Well, I go back to what Danica Patrick said. We are in the mountains and the wind can change direction, but I think to Kyle Busch's point, we have that sail right there that by my little radar is about 15 to 20 minutes away. It's to the west of us right now, and it seems to be moving due east, and it's going to be right about the top of the hour. I'm afraid we're going to get more moisture. The good news, we have almost 6 hours of daylight left.
Oh, so there is some good news.
Absolutely.
Good news is we have plenty of daylight left. Red flag conditions will keep you company on this Saturday. NASCAR on Fox from Pocono, coming right back. Looks like the rain has currently stopped. There's some good news for you from Pocono, the inaugural Xfinity Series race for the Tricky Triangle. A recap for you under red flag conditions currently. When we went green, Kyle Busch, your outside pole sitter, making his Xfinity return, had a 4-race absence. Lap 20, Justin Allgaier, driving for Junior Motorsports, had 5 top 5s in the last 6 races, entering that streak, obviously ending today. Hits the tunnel turn, contact with the wall. Lap 35, that 42 car, Kyle Larson takes the lead, passing the 98 of Eric Almirola and the 3 car of Ty Dillon. Now 61 laps to go. You see Ryan Reed spin in turn 1, comes down the track, nowhere for Jeremy Clements to go. Strategy, intensity, picking up because we knew rain was impending. Lap 52, the showers began. The red flag came out at lap 53. Kyle Larson leading when the red flag came out. We are just past the halfway point, so NASCAR can officially call the race, but hoping we go back green, Larry McReynolds.
Well, and the biggest thing, you've heard all the drivers talk about it, especially when I look at Ty Dillon in third, Joey Logano in fifth. They are on a two-stop strategy. Everyone should have to come to pit road somewhere if we go back racing around lap 62 to 63.
When we go back green, if we do, and we hope so, we have a guest analyst making her return, coming back to us for the first time in 2016. Excited to get the thoughts of Danica Patrick now that we have a moment to pause and reflect. Kyle Larson leading. Danica, who do you like in this one if we go back racing?
Kyle's restarts have been really strong. So I definitely think of him as definitely a favorite to win, but I think it's going to really depend on that. The restarts, track position's important, so whoever gets out front has that upper hand of clean air, so it's probably going to come down to the restarts.
Did you know that you signed up for a little rain, Phil? Were you ready for that?
I don't know if I'm qualified for rain delay, Phil, but, I'm always up for a challenge.
You know what I've loved about this event? The uncertainty of it. We knew that pit strategy was going to mix up the lineup. We thought those Gibbs cars were going to be dominant from the start to the finish, but we've seen a lot of strategy on pit road. It's been very exciting. We saw Ryan Reed cut a right rear tire. I think that's what got him into the outside wall, and then heavy contact from Clemens. Justin Allgaier's been so strong into the outside wall. It just tells you how tough this race is and how smart these pit crew guys are down on pit road. Let's mix it up and try to do something different than the dominant car. Maybe we can get to victory lane.
Did you know that Danica brought a dog to the booth? Dallas is here, huh? What's this about?
This is Dear Dallas. So when we got a dog a couple of years ago, the idea was to make a stuffed animal out of it, and then it was to give the money to charity. So all the stuffed animals that are bought, it's all going to animal charities. So go ahead and buy your Dallas dog. Kids love this thing. In fact, dogs love this thing. It's really interesting. Dallas and Ella, because we have two now, so maybe if we sell out of Dallas, we'll make an Ella dog. But they will tear up anything that's a stuffed animal. You name it, they tear it. They love to pull the hair off. They love to pull the stuffing out of it. But our Dallas dog in the bus is in mint condition. For some reason, they don't eat it up. I don't know what it is.
Can we go to your website?
Beautiful.
Can we go to your website and buy these?
Go to Danica Racing, yep.
DanicaRacing.com. I'm going to get me one unless maybe I can get out of here with this one.
All right, we're going to go
I'll give it to you. I like you, Michael.
We'll go back to Danielle, and Michael and I are going to go walk the dog. Okay, Danielle, is that all right?
Danica, we need to get. We have to get the boys. Yeah, we want your umbrella because Mikey has the hair situation. We want it to stay intact. A rainy Saturday at Pocono. Snuggle up with your furry friends. Stay with us, or buy a dog at your own. DanicaPatrick.com. We're coming right back. Hope to go back racing soon if we do. Kyle Larson, your Xfinity Series leader at Pocono. And if there's an upside to rain at the racetrack, it's more FaceTime with your favorite driver. Let's go around the horn and start with Vince Welch.
With Brennan Poole currently running 12th, but what a great year it has been for Brennan. He's strung together 4 straight top 10s, nicely positioned in the chase standings, and it's been good for you so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a really awesome year. Really pumped to be here at Pocono. It's one of my favorite tracks. We just got to get our DC Solar Camaro a little bit faster here in Xfinity's backyard. It's pretty cool to be able to race here. I did the Road to Pocono tour in Philadelphia. That was really awesome a few weeks ago. So, man, I'm just happy to be here. I got my friends, family, a bunch of people out watching. So, man, I hope this rain stays away and we can get back out there with our car and keep working on it and work our way up towards the front.
How do you describe the racing that we've had through the first half so far today?
Man, it's extremely tough. You have to keep building your momentum up and try to use it to pass people at the right times. I've been lucky a few times, but I've been on the bad end of it a few times too. So I've learned a lot this first 50 laps. Just try to use everything that I've learned into these last 50 laps and try to get our DC Solar Camaro in good position.
Yeah, Brennan Poole's done a nice job so far. Took 0 tires on that last pit stop, so he's got a little bit of work to do. Currently sits 12th if we get it going again. Let's go to Chris.
Yeah, and Ty Dillon having a great run, currently 3rd. And you've had a fast race car. Your pit crew's been doing great, grabbed you some spots here in pit lane, and you've been awesome on these restarts. How do you feel about the car today?
I feel pretty good about a Ream Chevy. We were battling with Kyle there for a little bit, and then caution came out, and he seemed like he got a little bit better. We're still on the left sides that we started the race on, so that's a really good thing for our race car. If we get back going, I think we have a shot at running up front with these guys. And the Gibbs cars are still pretty fast, but proud of the calls that Nick and the guys made and putting us in position to win. And we'll just see how the weather plays out. I've been watching the fight in the garage here a little bit, so it's been pretty fun, interesting rain delay.
Now, often we hear, some of this track is similar to Indianapolis. You won in Indianapolis just a couple years ago. And when drivers talk about that, is it the shape of the corners or is it how you drive the corners?
I just think it's the uniqueness of the racetrack. Indianapolis and Pocono are so different from what every other racetrack that we race on. So there's not really one corner that I can tell you is exactly like Indy. I think it's just the way you approach the race here at Pocono. It's just a different challenge, and you have to get 3 different corners handling right, and where you have to get 4 at Indy, you have to do 3 here. So it's a fun racetrack. It's one of my favorite racetracks to race at. Hopefully we can just get a good finish.
Now, Ty Dillon looking very strong here in Pocono. Matt?
Hey, and Chris, a lot of strategy being worked up and down pit road. And Brendan Gonzo, where do you guys sit right now? I know you and Shane have talked things over. You've made some strategy plays already.
I'm a little pissed. Wayne Auten, if you're watching, we need to be out there. Let's go. 15 laps. Let's go. There's another one coming. 15 laps, and we win this race. South Point Chevy stopped for fuel on the caution before this, planning that we would get back going. And so I think we got a really nice spot where we're sitting right now and seeing if I can't learn anything from my young son here trying to teach me. First time, but I'm letting him teach me.
Well, the thing about it is, what I like about you can see the forest through the trees, or maybe talking about leaves, trying to help out one of our friends and one of my broadcast partners, Todd Bodine. I recently saw a picture that he was on a roof with a power washer doing what?
Let me help you here. Todd, there's a great company. He was on Janet's mother's roof with a pressure washer. Give me some stats here.
Yeah, if he knew the stats of how many people fall off ladders and roofs trying to clean out their gutters, he'd have a leaf filter. So, Todd, get some leaf filter, man.
You know, one thing, being a young guy, and you reminded me a lot of Mark Martin with your shape, I looked over and I saw you eating what during this little intermission?
I was eating a sandwich and getting rehydrated with some aqua hydrate. So, you gotta keep the calories in, or I'll get, I'll lose it. Gotta keep going.
In all seriousness, so kind of break down. We're trying to be serious. It is rain delay. Let's break down where you are with your car at this juncture of the race.
My car's a little tight right now, but man, to be honest with you, we kind of dug ourselves in a hole at the beginning of the year with points, and there's some guys having a really bad day, so we're trying to just have a good, solid top 15 finish. So keep my mind straight and just look at a big picture and finish this race out in the top 15.
All right, thanks. Vince?
Standing by with Brandon Jones. He's inside the top 10, and pretty good run for you guys today. You started 14th, and you've been working your way up. The car been good?
Yeah, pretty good, honestly. We fell back a little bit right there. I think we needed to definitely make a couple adjustments to get us up to where we are now in the top 10, but I made some pretty aggressive moves on the front stretch there. I made it 3 wide a couple times to get in that spot with Mike Hillman telling me there's rain coming, so that was always in the back of our mind there, but just got to thank everyone at Comedic for coming on board this race, and hopefully we can get back going here and make it happen.
19 years old, rookie in the Xfinity Series. How do you describe how this experience has been for you through this first part of the season?
It's been great, man. Chasing a couple other 19 and 20-year-olds out there as well, though. There's a lot of great competition out here so far, but looking to make a name for myself and get us up there.
Yeah, you're doing it too. Brandon Jones, he's done a great job so far this season. Let's go to Chris.
And J.J. Yaley running around just outside of the top 10. You started 11th today, so really a good day for you. And you're doing it on a weekend where your crew chief isn't even here.
Yeah, it's been pretty easy so far. This Zachary Toyota has been just a little bit loose in, which has been giving me some fits on the racetrack. But all in all, we've been holding our own. Just want to thank Xfinity for being our sponsor and Pocono bringing us here. I mean, I've had a blast all day today. I'm conflicted on, the rain, not rain. Obviously, if it rains out, we had a great finish. If not, we stopped to make another pit stop on about 15 laps, and you're just not sure what's going to happen. So, I want to say hi to my girls, Faith and Kristen, back at home. But all in all, it's been a fantastic day, and like I said, the pit crew's been doing good, and we're just looking forward to get the Zachary group of top 10.
Is it a little bit more challenging without Frankie here?
Well, actually, it may be easier. I don't know, but Frankie's getting an award today. Hopefully, he does a good job with his speech tonight in Knoxville. But it's this place is pretty easy just because we're running for so long. You're not going to make as many pit stops as you will at Charlotte or maybe even in Iowa. So calling the box up there's a little bit easier for those guys this week.
J.J. Yaley, his 4th start in the 44 car. Danielle.
Yeah, missing Frankie Kerr atop the box. Thanks so much, guys. The skies are looking promising at Pocono. A small cell coming towards us, but it may move to the north. We're tracking the skies, hopefully watching cars race soon. Welcome back to Pocono, the inaugural Xfinity Series race here in Long Pond. And remember, for the first time ever, NASCAR implementing a playoff system for the Xfinity Series, much like what you see in the Sprint Cup Series. Through 12 races, Larry McReynolds, Danielle Trotta joining you inside the Hollywood Hotel. What jumps out, sir?
Well, you see Jeb Burton right there in 11th. Actually, Richard Petty Motorsports suspended their Xfinity Series program, so that puts Blake Cook in pretty good shape. Blake's sitting there right now with a pretty solid run going. So remember, it's musical chairs, and there's only 12 chairs that they'll be playing the music to.
And we know the Cup guys take a lot of the races away from Xfinity regulars. Eric Jones, a regular, he has 2 wins. We know he's locked in. Elliott Sadler got it done as well. Any Xfinity regulars you have your eye on today under red flag conditions, a little bit of rain here at Pocono. A Cup driver, Kyle Larson, right now leading.
Well, it looks like to me, and we interviewed him, Eric Jones, as we have seen the entire weekend, especially in qualifying earlier. Of course, he already has 2 wins already at 2 concrete racetracks, Bristol and Dover. I think he may have his car that can compete with Kyle Larson, but he's going to have to put his work clothes on because that 42 looks awfully strong.
Yeah, and we know Joe Gibbs Racing, been a dominant organization with Eric Jones, with Kyle Busch, but some parity perhaps today. You mentioned Ganassi, Kyle Larson, Joe Gibbs running second, RCR, and Team Penske. We have 4 different teams representing the top 5 drivers right now.
Well, and to me, a good measuring stick about how you stack up are our 2 racetracks this weekend at Pocono, next week at Michigan, because it takes the whole package. Handling, aero, horsepower, all the things that makes a good race car and a good race team really shows up at a place like Pocono or Michigan next week.
Jet drying currently underway. We hear NASCAR is clearing some of the jet dryers off the track. That is good news. That means more face time for your drivers. Let's go down to pit road.
Well, Bubba Wallace, he's already done half of a Danny Sullivan. He's done the spin part. Now you're looking for the win part.
Yeah, for sure. It's so crazy. This weather here has been crazy. I think that's every year they come up here. It's always been like this, kind of on and off. But good recovery for us so far. I think we're P16 or something like that. Just not our weekend. We're trying to make the most of it. You know, last weekend I let the emotions get the best of me, and that kind of ruined our race at our one of our best tracks. So this is not our best track, so I'm trying to keep a cool head and not make it worse for us. But my guys have been working hard. We've all been working hard on this loudmouth exhaust Mustang just to get it better, just to get me more comfortable out here. And this is such a tricky place, tricky triangle, and it's trying to figure it out, having some fun with it, trying to keep it in one piece so we can get out here in good shape.
Is that one of the biggest challenges when you're having a day like you have here, or the weekend, so to speak, trying to compartmentalize the emotions to not make the day even worse?
Yeah, for sure. We all know, like, coming in this weekend, I was just trying to be so optimistic about it, and you're trying everything, you know, trying different lines, trying different lifting points and everything, and either run the same lap time or you slow down a lot. It's like, man, I'm giving it my all, and I come over right when they threw the caution. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, guys. I'm driving my tail off here. I just can't get around this place. So just have to do a lot more studying, and if we come back next year, and just have to be more ready for it.
And I know it's raining right now, and that's why you don't have your Coke, because you don't want to water it down. So that's very smart thinking. Very smart thinking.
Way to call me out. Thanks.
Bubba Wallace trying to make the most of his race car today and the most of his time. Another thing tricky about Pocono, how do you fill rain delay time? Here's how Bubba Wallace does it. Nice up, son. Almost. Almost. Tonight, it's baseball night in America, featuring an AL East battle between the Yankees and Orioles, or the Giants take on the Cardinals, or Royals Indians, all beginning 7 p.m. Eastern on your local Fox station, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. You can always watch NASCAR coverage on our app. If you're doing that right now, you're about to see Chris Neville and Elliott Sadler.
And Elliott Sadler right now, best of the junior motorsports cars. Got a lot of weight on your shoulders because of that. And just as we're getting ready to do this, the track looking pretty good. It's starting to rain again.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. We can't do anything about the weather. We were kind of looking at it, and we were trying to do some different pit strategy stuff there at the beginning of the race. Just taking 2 tires, trying to keep track position. That's always very important here at Pocono. But so proud of everybody on this team. We have a lot of people here today from One Main that's come out and supporting this race team, supporting the first inaugural race here at Pocono, and we want to put on a good show for those guys. So we're trying to stay up front, and we'll take whatever the weather gives us here moving on.
You know, a good portion of this field has not really had that much experience at this racetrack. You've raced here for 12 years in Cup, but it's been a few years since you've been here. How different is this racetrack?
Well, it's definitely a lot different. The asphalt's a lot different, and that kind of hurt me a little bit setting my car for the race. Some things I was looking for in practice probably made it too tight for the race, so we're talking about that now, gathering all our notes if we go back racing today or when we come back here next year. But guys here at Pocono did a great job. We're so glad to be here, so close to Xfinity headquarters as well. Very close to a lot of people that's from One Main as well to come over here from their headquarters. So definitely a great place to have a racetrack. It's a neat racetrack. It's a lot different anywhere else we race at. We just hopefully we can go back racing here a little bit, but it's been fun so far. We just got a little bit of a tight condition. We're going to try to free it up some on next pit stop and go on from there.
All right, thanks, Elliott. Go get dry. Danielle?
Yeah, Chris, we hate to see showers damper the inaugural Pocono Xfinity Series race. NASCAR can officially call this race, Chris, because we are past the halfway point. 100 laps. We're 53 and Kyle Larson leading. And entering the day, we told you, a quarter of this field had never raced here before, so our veteran driver, Kenny Wallace, was trying to give some tips to the rookies.
This is the first time the NASCAR Xfinity Series has ever been to Pocono. Today, we have 3 drivers that have never been here until Thursday. Blake Cook, Ryan Reed, Brandon Jones. Okay, you 3, did you know how to get on the racetrack?
I did, because I did my homework, and we get a track map, and it tells you the practice flow, and I actually held it and walked like I was pretending I was driving because I wanted to know where I was going.
What about you, Ryan?
Nah, I went the wrong way in the garage the first time, so I made it on my way to the racetrack and then had to learn from there.
This place has a hidden nickname. It's called a roval. Not many people know about it. Do you know what the roval is?
How long ago was that the nickname?
I think Darrell Waltrip created it. Do you know what roval is?
I have no clue.
Tricky Triangle is not the only nickname. Do you know what roval is?
I got nothing on roval, no idea.
A road course oval.
Road course oval.
Oh, very good.
Wow.
Very good. All right, this is a big one. How many corners are there at the Pocono Raceway?
6.
Where do you get 6 at?
So if I'm going down the front stretch, getting into turn 1, into the corner, come off of 1, that's 2.
Right.
Go down the back stretch, get in the dog leg. You make another corner getting in.
3.
That's my 3. Coming up off is the 4. Getting back here at 5, 6.
He's got 6 corners.
I think Kenny Wallace doubled up on the amount of turns we usually advertise here at Pocono, Larry.
He should have never let Brandon Jones walk away from that conversation, still believing there's 6 corners here. I've been coming here since 1980, and it's 3. I know you have entrance and exit, but it's turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. If my driver said I'm loose or too tight in turn 5, as I told Kenny Wallace earlier, you're on your own. I don't know what to do because I have no idea what that corner's like.
Trying to have some fun during a wet situation. Showers returning here to Pocono. So to pass some time, we bring you to an instant NASCAR classic, the 1993 Daytona 500. You're watching contingency programming. It's NASCAR on Fox. NASCAR continues their track drying efforts here at Pocono. Rain brought a stop to the action with 47 laps to go. Kyle Larson leading when the red flag came out. NASCAR making every effort to get the race in today. Danielle Trotta alongside our resident crew chief, Larry McReynolds, in the Hollywood Hotel. Larry, you're part crew chief, part meteorologist. We have our eye on the radar.
Well, I do, and they're doing a great job of getting this track ready. The greatest thing that has come along in a long time are the Air Titan 2s. They really escalate the drying time of a racetrack, but there's still some stuff to the west of us, but I'm becoming a little more optimistic because I'm seeing a lot that's going to miss us to the north. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that it'll all stay to the north of us.
And we are past halfway, so NASCAR can officially call an end to this race, but we're holding out hope that the racing does resume.
Well, again, NASCAR, no matter what series, they try to do everything they can to get the race in, and it's not necessarily by the seat of their pants. They're looking at the same radars that we're looking at, and they're looking at how much darkness before darkness hits it. So there's a lot of things they're looking at, but they would love more than anything, especially the inaugural race here, to run it in its entirety.
This is the first time ever the Xfinity Series has raced here at Pocono. We hope we see a thrilling finish. But NASCAR on Fox keeping you company this Saturday afternoon. Larry McReynolds, a crew chief now for television, but back in 1992, a crew chief for Davey Allison. Part of our coverage now, a look back at the 1992 Sprint Cup run to the championship.
I called it, didn't I? Wind shifted from there to there to there to there. Boom, rain.
We're talking about a little bit of rain. Caution's out, caution's out. It's raining really good where I'm at. You watch your mirror here, Ty. I'm on a caution. Caution, rain at 3. It's raining. Pouring in turn 3 here. Be careful. Yellow is out. Yellow is out. Turn 4. Radar still looks the same.
NASCAR on Fox's Xfinity Series guest driver analyst today, Danica Patrick, calling rain showers, Mother Nature not being kind after an hour and 35 minutes of rain delay. NASCAR just telling us here at Fox they have officially called the Xfinity Series race at Pocono. 53 laps out of 100. NASCAR says the race officially called, making Ganassi driver Kyle Larson your Xfinity Series winner in the inaugural Pocono race. He's standing by with our Chris Neville.
And Kyle Larson, so patient, just waiting this one out. You guys called the best strategy today, but really when you look back at the last 6 weeks since Bristol, you have been on the cusp of winning in both the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. You finally break through today.
Yeah, it's all you can ask for is just put yourself in position to win each and every week, and it'll happen for you. So, like you said, we've been close, week after week now in both series, Cup and Xfinity. So, thanks to everybody on this team and at Chip Ganassi Racing for working their tails off in both series. So, been having a lot of fun recently. It's been, like I said, it's been a blast. So, thanks everybody. Thanks to Cessna, NTT Group, Ineos, Parker Store, especially Target for all they do for me. Everybody on the team. So having a blast and looking forward to many more wins.
Fast cars in both series running right near the front. Finally breaks through and gets that first win.
In the category of what a difference a week makes, last week he's leading, Kyle Larson. Caution comes out, overtime, some guys pit, he can't pull it off. Today, he's out front, gets the rain, delivers his first win of the year.
Yeah, and
Huge congrats to Kyle. That was tough to beat the Gibbs cars.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. When the weather comes, sometimes the dominant car doesn't win. People play strategy, and that's exactly what we saw. When Danica said so eloquently, the rain's coming, it's here, the race is over, and that underdog car drove to victory lane.
It was an entertaining afternoon here at Pocono, although it was a bit abbreviated. And coming up now on Fox, it's going to be soccer. So if you tuned in for soccer, be patient. We're going to finish our post-race coverage, and then it's going to be the Copa America, which I think we're all excited about, right? Costa Rica, Paraguay. Yeah, right. We set the DVR for that earlier, I believe. All right, so if you want soccer, we've got it on the way. First, we're going to take a break. More post-race coverage live from Pocono. Congratulations to Kyle Larson. He's a winner this afternoon.
Welcome back to Pocono, Pennsylvania. It's NASCAR on Fox. Coverage of Copa America coming up right here in just a moment. Wrapping up an exciting but rain-shortened afternoon of Xfinity Series racing after 53 laps. NASCAR calling the race due to rain. Kyle Larson, your winner.
Well, and he ended the season last year with that win at Homestead. He's come so close this season, so it's really good to see he and his crew chief Mike Shiplett finally seal the deal.
An upset here in the Xfinity Series. It was not a Joe Gibbs driver going to victory lane. Kyle Larson nabbing his first Xfinity Series win of 2016. Danielle Trotta, Larry McReynolds, for everybody at NASCAR on Fox. Thanks so much for watching on this Saturday afternoon. Now we send you to Copa America. Coverage of the game coming up right now. It's Costa Rica versus Paraguay. We hope you enjoy the soccer coverage. Xfinity Series racing coming at you from Michigan next week, and NASCAR on Fox Cup racing tomorrow.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.